Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. You see him there right next to me on the screen, my friend Mikey McNuggets, so dubbed by the great Joe Thomas. When a Hall of Famer gives you a nickname, it stays with you. Then the last name goes away, and that becomes your nickname. You were honored to get a nickname from a Hall of Famer. I just made up my own nickname, basically, when I was a kid. So it's much more prestigious, your nickname, because Joe Thomas gave it to you.
Yeah, especially when your name's Mike and you're trying to make a name for yourself in a new market. The most forgettable name in the history of humanity is a white guy with blonde hair who's normal size named Mike. So McNuggets sticks a lot better, and
that's true.
It's worked out well.
You went from generic white dude to like basketball aficionado thanks to the nickname McNuggets. From Joe Thomas. It's a long season. Obviously, of the three main sports we cover here, baseball, football, basketball, even though it's not the most games, it's the longest season. And sometimes it's hard to stay locked in to the team, especially coming off the disappointing ending. You've been around the team a little bit so far this year. Do you feel like that they've gotten over what happened at the end of last year?
I don't know if I would say gotten over, because I don't think you could ever get over a debilitating defeat like they had, especially in game 2, Bull. We talked about it. As soon as they lost game 2, up 7 with 48 seconds left, losing that game at home in the fashion they did, you don't recover from that. But I do think they're ready to put it behind them and move forward. You can't change the past. It is what it is. The Cavs won 64 regular season games last year and lost in the second round of the playoffs and lost 3 games in that second round series at home. Like that doesn't get erased from the history books.
Right.
But all you can do is kind of put it behind you, try and learn some lessons from that series and get ready for the upcoming season. And I do think with some of the offseason moves the Cavs made, some of the internal improvement and development they're counting on, and more importantly than anything else, Kenny Atkinson having a full summer with this team where he's not splitting duty between Cleveland and Team France for the Olympics, and him being the established head coach the entire year, will kind of pay some dividends. I know they're switching up some things defensively. They're going to look to attack teams a little different offensively, have a couple new wrinkles built in with the likes of Lonzo Ball and Larry Nance Jr., which gives them some more depth. So getting over last year, I don't know if you ever get over that, Bull, but are they certainly ready to go put a better step forward this year? Yeah, I get the sense they're ready to shut some people up.
Yeah, and they can only do that in the playoffs. But, habits are built in the regular season. And this, the worst thing about this team or the reputation they have is they're not tough enough. They're not physically tough enough, maybe not mentally tough enough. Not the case with Donovan Mitchell, but the rest of the team, there's a lot of questions. Now, Darius Garland's starting the season injured. When do you think we'll see him back on the court?
Well, Kenny Atkinson said Monday that he participated in some live 5-on-5 in practice, which puts him ahead of any timeline we had previously heard. I talked to a couple of guys in the Cavs organization who said Darius is jumping at the bit to go. Like, he feels like he's Superman. He's ready to get on the court and play on Wednesday night. The Cavs aren't going to let him, and the Cavs are the guys kind of pulling Darius back, saying, hey, it's a long season. We have a long way to go. You need to be healthy in April, May, and June, not necessarily be at your best in October and November. So, they told us about 10 games he may miss, 10 to 15 games. Knowing that he's already back playing 5-on-5 in live capacity in practice, I lean towards the shorter end of that, if not even a little sooner. But I don't anticipate Darius missing too much of the season. Max Strus, on the other hand, I'm not sure we're going to see him before the All-Star break. That's a completely separate issue, and they're also not going to rush him back. So Max could be a while. Darius, I think we're going to see him sooner than a lot of us thought we could.
DeAndre Hunter also is dealing with something minor. Is he going to play in the opener?
He's day-to-day. He went knee-to-knee with a guy in the Bulls in their last preseason opener. It's nothing serious. There's no ligament damage. It's just a bone contusion. And I think, once again, the Cavs are going to be abundantly cautious with anyone who's kind of nicked up with something not serious this early in the season. I mean, the season's about to start, right? So you don't want to put anyone in harm's way. I kind of lean towards him playing tomorrow night against the Knicks, but that's just a gut hunch at this point. But he's not anything serious that the Cavs have to be worried about long-term. Just a unfortunate knee-to-knee after DeAndre was having a great game against Chicago.
Yeah, he certainly was. And so hopefully he'll be all right. And if he doesn't play in the opener, that's fine. Mike, let's talk about, Evan Mobley, because obviously he's been the biggest talk of the offseason. He's the, besides the new guys, which we'll get to, Evan Mobley, is the guy that's going to determine ultimately whether the Cavs can take. They've taken that step in the regular season, but can they take that step in the postseason? The Cavs are tied with the Nuggets here at Bet Rivers at plus 700 as the second choice to win the NBA title. In the Eastern Conference, they're the favorites at plus 225, just ahead of the Knicks. This is the Cavs, probably their best opportunity to be the number one seed in the East, even though they were last year. I mean, it's the most wide open Eastern Conference I think I've ever seen, or certainly in a year where you're paying attention to the Cavs. There are no excuses. There is no excuse for the Cavs not to get to the finals this year. What makes you believe that Evan Mobley can raise his game? Because it's got to be raised even more, especially in the postseason. How confident are you in that happening?
I mean, you and I have jousted back and forth many times on the Evan Mobley thing, so it's not going to come to a surprise, Bull, that I'm still all in on Evan Mobley. If anyone's selling their Evan Mobley stock, I'm still all in. And I think one indication that he's ready to take on even more of an offensive load this season is the early substitution patterns we've seen from Kenny Atkinson in the preseason. Now, granted, Bull, I know you hate preseason. Mm-hmm. It is preseason basketball, which is even less relevant than NFL preseason. However, we only have that 4-game sample size to go on. And last year, in Kenny Atkinson's rotations, when Donovan came out, Evan came out. They were attached to the hip just like this.
Yeah.
Kenny felt that Don and Evan were such a good pairing that he wanted to keep them together. And when they were on the court, Darius and Jarrett were a good enough tandem to kind of lead the offense. It's preseason. It is preseason. It is preseason. But in each of those 4 games, Bull, or at least the ones that Donovan and Evan played, Donovan came out first. And instead of following Donovan to the bench, they left Evan in to be the focal point of the offense, Bull. And with the addition of Lonzo Ball and putting Lonzo into that position that Ty Jerome was in, Jerome was a score-first kind of guard. Lonzo's the ultimate pass-first, get other people involved kind of guard. So to me, that says, why would you leave Evan in, and why would you swap out a shoot-first scorer for a guy who's going to distribute the ball more frequently than he's going to shoot the ball, and he's really good at getting big guys to rock? Because you believe that Evan Mobley is ready to handle more of an offensive load. I understand it's the preseason. I totally understand.
And also the fact that Garland is out right now. That plays a role in it too.
Absolutely. But just even when Garland was in last year, it was the Mitchell and Mobley tandem that came in and out together. Right. And the fact that they're separating them this year, we'll see if it happens tonight against the Knicks and on Friday against the Nets and then in their home opener on Sunday. I don't know why they would show that if it wasn't the actual rotations they're going to use in the regular season. But to me, that just says Kenny believes that Evan's ready to handle more. He's going to be able to facilitate more. They're going to put the ball in his hands and say, Evan, be aggressive, because without Darius and without Donovan on the court, you are our best option to score. And sometimes for a guy like Evan, who is – there's aggro stars and then there's more quiet, passive stars. And Evan is certainly a passive star. We talked about him growing into his voice last year when he said – yeah, I think I could be one of the best 5 players in basketball with Wemby. It was a shock because he never talks like that at all. I mean, even when we're in the locker room talking to him post-game, you have to be, this far away from him both to even hear what he's saying because he talks like this. He whispers. But when you feed someone and instill someone with the confidence that they don't have within themselves, and by saying, Evan, hey, we're going to take Donovan out because we need you to be the alpha, and you don't really have someone else to defer to, sometimes that's the only way to literally wring the dog out of somebody, to bring the dog to the forefront. Yeah. And we'll see if it works. But I think the Cavs are doing everything in their power to put Evan in a position to have a monstrous season. And it may not look like 29, 30, 31 points a game. But if Evan can go from 18.5 to 24 and keep that efficiency up and have a little more facilitating prowess in the offense, especially when Donovan gets out of the game, it's going to unlock a lot of good looks for everyone else too, Bull. So I'm still buying the Mobley stock, but I totally understand the hesitancy from you and others who just think he may be too passive an offensive force to ever become that number one option.
I mean, I think it's possible. I'm not, completely giving up on that. Certainly. I mean, he's still very young. What did he average in terms of assists last year? He averaged
3.5, give or take.
It was really the same as the year before. I wouldn't have guessed that. 3.2. So what do you want him to get up to 5? Is that realistic or no?
Yeah, I do think it's realistic. And especially if the Cavs continue to shoot at the clip they did last year. Now, I know they started out scorching hot. They fell down. They still had the best team three-point percentage in the NBA since the Clippers in 2021 or 2020. I forget which year. The Clippers had set that record. And if he's the focal point of the offense and he has 4 shooters around him, and mind you, last year the shooters around him on that second unit were Ty Jerome, Sam Merrill, who had a down shooting year, Dean Wade, and Isaac Okoro a lot of times, Bull. It's not a ton of spacing, right? And if you replace just 2 of those guys, if you replace Dean Wade with Larry Nance Jr., you got a legitimate, capable three-point shooter now, giving Evan more space to operate and more opportunities to kick. And if one of these young guys, whether it's Merrill, who starts shooting better, he had a down year shooting, whether it's Proctor, who they drafted with number 49th pick, whether it's Craig Porter Jr., who had 5 threes in the preseason opener, made more threes than anyone else in the Cavs throughout the preseason. If those guys are in to help space the floor and make some of those open kick-out threes, then I don't think it's crazy to see him go from 3.2 assists to 4.5, 4.7. It's not a crazy jump.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a 24, 10, and 5 guy this year, that would be pretty amazing. And
I think it's realistic.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that's a big scoring jump. That's 5.5 points per game. I mean, that'd be the biggest jump. Last year he was only up 3.5 points from his rookie season in terms of points per game. But it's around this time, right, for some of these young big men that they kind of make that jump. But if it doesn't happen to that level this year, will you still believe it? Or does it have to happen this year?
I mean, listen, if Mobley doesn't get any better than he is right now, he's still a very good player. He's still an all-star caliber big man. But no, I think this is the year that it has to come together, Bull, because once again, how many times can you be handed the keys to a situation and say, hey, it's your turn, Ev. Yeah. It's your time. And you don't do it. And I just think this iteration of the Cavs has a shelf life. Like, this is year 4 of the Donovan, Darius, Evan, Jared core. And at some point, they fail to reach the finals. They fail to reach the conference finals. Like, what's the definition of insanity? Running it back and hoping for a different result? Like, at some point, they're going to have to break this team up. And we keep waiting on Evan to make that jump. He made a jump last year. Let's not misconstrue the facts. He did make a tangible jump last season. He made second-team All-NBA. He was the Defensive Player of the Year. But they still didn't take another jump to reach their ultimate goal. So if he doesn't make it this year, I will probably sell some of my Mobley stock. I'm not gonna free fall. I'm not gonna hope the market crashes. But I do think if it's going to happen, the stars have aligned for this to be the year that Evan makes that jump from a really good all-star caliber player to a perennial All-NBA. We're talking about him in the terms of top 10 conversation.
Let's talk about Lonzo Ball. We know what he brings to the table. He's an upgrade for this team from anybody they had off the bench last year. Well, I mean, DeAndre Hunter, but you know what I mean in terms of guards. The question always with him, obviously, is can he stay healthy? I mean, there's no way you can answer that because, the odds are he's going to get hurt. But if he's healthy come playoff time, he could be a huge difference maker for them, right?
A game changer. I mean, he's a 6'6" defensive player by nature. Right? Like, he's a great passer, and that's his best asset. But if nothing else, he's a 6'6" guard with length who can defend. And even in the highlights against their game against Detroit, Bull, and I remember I had you do a little play-by-play on UCSS for it. He had 3 steals and 2 blocks in that game. Yeah, right. Like with all due respect to Ty Jerome, and Ty was my guy, and I miss Ty, and I hope he's doing well. I know he just suffered an ankle or a calf injury. Excuse me. He's out for 4 weeks, which is ironic because the Cavs – in theory, traded the durable guy for the injury-prone guy, and the durable guy is now out for the first month of the season. Ty wasn't getting 2 steals and having 3 blocks or vice versa in a game ever. Like, that just wasn't his forte. Ty was a score-first guy. Lonzo's a pass-first guy. And when you look at the other options on the Cavs from an offensive standpoint, you can play Lonzo alongside literally anyone else you want. Like, he fits into any 5-person lineup that you want to put in there because he has the size, because he's a connector, and because his basketball IQ may be higher than anyone on the team, including Donovan Mitchell. Like, that's how smart I think Lonzo is as far as a basketball player. And in my one-on-one with Kenny at Media Day, Kenny Atkinson said, hey, Lonzo's been here like 4 weeks, and he's already tweaking my offense. And usually I don't like when players that early into it make suggestions because they don't fully understand all the nuances to it. Except when Lonzo did it, I was like, holy crap, how did I miss that? Yeah. So it like he's seeing things at this stage already. Then wait till he gets in it for 3-4 months and starts playing with these guys and starts knowing their tendencies, what they're better at, where they like to catch the ball. Health is a huge factor. Like you said it off the top, that's the biggest thing with Lonzo. Yeah. But if he is healthy, Bull, and they're going to be super cautious with him throughout the regular season to make sure he stays as healthy as possible for the playoffs, I do think he could be the guy coming off the bench for Cleveland in a postseason series, or we say, yeah, there's no way that win that series without Lonzo playing 24, 25 minutes in 2 of those games. He was a legitimate game changer, and that's the reason the Cavs are advancing as opposed to going home.
All right, last thing with some of the young guys. Jalen Tyson, Craig Porter Jr., Tyrese Proctor, who makes the biggest impact and is most likely to be a factor when it matters of those 3 guys?
When it matters, I'm going to go with Jalen Tyson just because I think he plays a position where they have the least amount of depth. So for him to actually play in a playoff series, less things would have to happen. When you look at the guard rotation for Porter Jr. or Proctor to get in, that means one of Lonzo, Darius, or Donovan isn't healthy, and Sam Merrill. Like, they'd have to jump those guys.
Yeah.
But from all accounts, Tyrese Proctor hasn't missed in camp. Like, he's been incredible. They are thrilled with the selection so far. Will it translate to the regular season? We'll see. Craig Porter Jr. is a guy who I think they're going to unleash defensively, Bull. You and I had a conversation on the phone the other day about the Cavs picking up full court.
Yeah,
Part of the reason they feel comfortable picking up guys much higher up the court than they did last year was you have a guy like Craig Porter Jr. who's capable of staying in front of guys and making them turn 2 or 3 times before they cross that half-court line. And Jalen Tyson, his shot has not been good in the preseason. He has to make shots to play any kind of significant minutes with this team, especially in a playoff series. But he brings an intensity, an energy, a physicality, and just I'll do all the little things so Don and Darius don't have to on the defensive end of the court, that they don't have a ton of guys at that position at 6'5", 6'6" with his strength to play over him. So to start the year, he may not be the biggest of those 3, but by the end of the year, I do think the Cavs are going to count on Jalen Tyson in some more defensive minutes, because how many 6'6" guys at his size, frankly, they have? Like, they don't really have a ton of other options. So I'll go with Jalen Tyson, but I don't love my own answer for that.
I am going to shock the world by picking the Cavs to go to the NBA Finals, because I've been so negative about this team. But I'm changing it here. I think the East stinks, and so it's gonna. I mean, maybe this is a team that we don't expect. I don't know, maybe Orlando or whatever. But I'm gonna pick the Cavs to win the East and lose the NBA Finals to Denver, not Oklahoma City. What's your prediction for the season?
I mean, Denver is like my favorite. I cannot wait to watch Denver. Yeah. The addition of Cam Johnson, like, OKC's still the favorite. I think they're gonna be better than they were last year, and because of that, I can't pick anyone else to win the title. But I'm rooting for Denver. I love Jokic. And, boy, I'm glad you went out on a whim and picked the betting favorite to make the Eastern Conference, to make the finals from the East. Like, really good job for taking a stand here.
I'm not saying I didn't say it was a bold prediction, but the Cavs have been awful in the playoffs. And
that's true.
I didn't think you'd think I was going to pick them. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say it's a bold prediction.
Fair. Jason and I did an Ultimate Cavs show on Tuesday morning, and the headline of the show was, is anything short of a trip to the finals a failure for Cleveland?
100%.
And I think the answer is yes. And it's hard to argue any other way about it. So
that's right.
I'm going to pick the Thunder over the Cavs in the finals. I do think Cleveland makes it. And if they don't bowl, we're going to have a very fun offseason of content next year, because there's no defending keeping it together. Like, all those crazy trade scenarios that we come up with, and everybody's crazy 2 for 1, 3 for 1, or the part's better than the whole. Like, it's all valid next summer. So they better make the finals, or it's going to be a very entertaining content offseason for Cleveland. So
all right, Mikey McNuggets, thank you for joining me. That is your Cavs preview for the 2025-2026 season. Folks, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to Z and Alex for producing. We'll talk to you next time in the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers.